What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Guy Up podcast. We've got a big week for you here, ladies and gentlemen. It is draft week, which is very exciting. If your team was terrible during the regular season,
bingo,
ding, 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 you're in the right place. We got the first overall pick. We got the fifth overall pick represented here tonight. But even if our teams were good and we're picking in the 20s, we'd still be excited about the draft. At least me and Mason would be. But big night, NFL draft, lots of storylines, lots of fun stuff to keep track of, implications for fantasy football, for betting in the regular season, just lots of fun. So it's fun to sit and watch the NFL draft for 4 hours for some reason. I do it every year. Mason does it as well.
I also do it.
And then we watch it all weekend long because why not? So yeah, big week, super pumped. What's up, boys?
This day gives you hope. Whether you're a good team, it still gives you hope to run it back for playoffs or Super Bowl. And if you're bad, it gives you hope that you're better than you were this year, which with the Titans being the first overall pick and the worst record, I mean, it's only up from here, right, Zach? The holder of a Super Bowl ticket for 2025 or 2026,
You're
I guess.
not wrong about that. I do still have it. I cannot wait. Cam Ward has 4 touchdowns, and he wins his first NFL game. I'm cashing that puppy out. We're going to make some money.
He thinks that that cash out is going to be like significantly high. It might be like 20 cents more.
That's fine.
It
was a $2 bet. It was a $2 bet to win 420. So if I just get like $10,
I mean, that'd be success if he could get that to like $50-$60. Like let's say they go like 4-0. Yeah, then he'll cash
$2.
out.
Yeah.
But then they get to the playoffs and then he's like, oh shoot.
No, I'm cashing. They're not making the playoffs, mate. What are we talking about?
I mean, Jaden Daniels took
Washington. No, you're looking at playoffs.
In the AFC South, you're right. We probably are.
He's
our division is bad.
We just talked about how much hope you have, and he's like, "Oh, we're not getting there. We're not getting to playoffs."
Listen, my hope is for a brighter future, not necessarily.
And Will Levis,
right
it
now.
Don't take much.
Yeah.
I want it on record real quick. I know where Zach stands on Cam Ward. I know Zach's got some trivia, some stuff for us real quick. But Mason, I'm putting you on the spot because you've kind of flip-flopped about Cam Ward. I want it on record. Are you going to ride and die with Cam Ward, or are you just waiting for his failure to take the next quarterback?
So let me be honest about something. We've talked about this before, so we don't have to get really into it. But Tinsley was in person when I was not a ride or die with Will Levis, and we kind of see how that panned out. Like, I think it's nice to be rational about a certain situation. Like, you don't have to convince yourself of something that is just gonna not pan, and you know it. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, Tins, but I mean, you were pretty ride or die. It seemed like with. Well, I was gonna say Blake Bortles, you were very like all in on. But
hey, Blake Bortles was one underthrown ball from the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, you're correct. Well, I'm just saying there were certain times where it's like, did you try to convince yourself that something that you deep down didn't believe in?
Leonard Fournette.
I feel like okay,
playing Gabbert.
So there's a certain times. My thing is, I was not against Cam Ward. I was more for the trading back. We don't really know what we would have got, but I was really hoping some type of scenario of like what the Bears were able to get for the Bryce Young trade, where they got like all these picks and they've been in this great situation in the draft the last couple of years just because they got like 6 picks to trade back a couple spots. So it's like one of those things. I was more for that and trying to get Travis Hunter than I was against Cam Ward. With that being said, now that I know what's happening and it's minus like 20,000 that Cam Ward is a lock, I ride or die. I'm with Zach.
All right. He's on the Cam Ward hype train, everyone. I expect him to be buying a jersey.
Jump on.
When he has a game like Will Levis' first game and looks really good, Mason cannot come back and say, well, pump the brakes, everyone. He's actually going to suck. Because that's what he did with Will Levis.
I was cashed out already as soon as he has that game.
Zach made his $1.50 because he's like, hey, 4 touchdowns. Everybody's hyped up about it. He made his money.
Sat on that all summer. It's a long game, Mason. It's a long con.
It is crazy that before Combine, it was even money, which for people that don't know betting, like you pay $10, you bet $10 to win $10 for the Titans to trade that. And then just everything changed. Like they had a press conference at the Combine, and I think that's where it went from like even to like minus 350 because they were talking on and on about Cam Ward. So it's one of those things where there was a situation where nobody actually knew if we were going to trade back or if we were going to draft a quarterback with Will Levis as like he was a meme machine. Like he made the memes last season, but I was wondering, Zach's over here like, he's out. Well, everybody's talking about him being traded. We don't have to go too Titans heavy. I'm not sure how Titans heavy we're going to go.
Levis will get traded for sure. A team like the Steelers or Saints or Seahawks, somebody like that.
I'm like, what are we going to get for him if like
nothing?
Justin Fields over here, what was he? Like, wasn't he a 5th round? He was a late pick. So I'm like, are we just going to get a 7th round pick for like, I don't know.
Probably. Because you've already got like your backup, like who is it? Tyler? No, it's not. Thigh Pin or whatever his name is. You gotta sign someone. Nick Mullins, maybe. That sounds right.
You know, I have to look. Sometimes I was like,
you signed someone from his system, from Callahan's system to be the backup. I just don't think you can have Levis. Like, it's unnecessary pressure. Like when the Jags drafted Trevor, we still had Gardner Minshew on the team, and he was like a pretty good starter for us and like had decent games. So it made the whole situation kind of awkward. They have both of them, so then you trade one just to kind of. You want the guy who's going to be the guy. Like you don't want some people in the locker room are so like, oh well, Will Levis was our starter last year, and he's kind of our leader or our guy or whatever. You just want to have Cam Ward come in and it's completely his team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Are you talking about Brandon Allen?
Yes. Okay. Brandon Allen. All those dudes, they're all the same guy. Brandon Allen, Kyle, just all those guys.
Not wrong. Is there Kyle Allen? That's
the guy the Jags have as a backup. He's one of those same dudes, just the same basic 6'1" white guy. They all look the same. They all went to like a weird college.
Yeah. So
career backups.
Hopefully we'll see how many end up coming out of this draft. I was looking back and Zach's got some trivia. I'm not sure what he's going to do with some. I was looking back at some drafts and that, let's see, what was it? It was the Kenny Pickett. I realized, or I forgot how bad that one was, quarterback. And that's going to be the main talk, right, of any draft is like the quarterbacks. Well, I'm sure we'll get into it. But I'm curious to see where some of these quarterbacks are going to fall.
My favorite quarterback draft is this was when we were in high school, the Cam Newton draft. So it went Cam Newton, then Jake Locker, then Blaine Gabbert, then Christian Ponder, and then there was one more, and I can't think of who it was now. But just an all-time bad. Just all-time bad. And I remember thinking, this is before when we were playing basketball, church league basketball. I remember they had it on the TV before the game. Jags picked Blaine Gabbert, and I was hype. I was like, "Let's go! He's better than Cam Newton. He was so good at Missouri. Look, he's so great." No, Blaine Gabbert, one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever watched in my life.
Newton, Locker, Gabbert, Ponder, Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, see, those last two ended up having better careers than the middle guys there.
And they were like 3rd round picks, 3rd, 4th.
Christian Ponder was so bad too. He was awful.
Not wrong.
But yeah.
So should we jump in?
But yeah, that's the benchmark of every draft is how good the quarterback is.
But you had hope at one point, right? You had hope and then it did not pan out. So that's what we're looking for.
We had Blaine Gabbert, and then we took Justin Blackmon the next year in the top 5 pick. and he could not stop smoking marijuana or drinking alcohol. He actually just got arrested yesterday. Again, this is like his 6th DUI. His mugshot, he does not look the same as he did when he was in the NFL, like at all. He looks like he's put on about 100 pounds. Tough scene, tough look for old Justin Blackman. Not Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert's been a backup. He's the Chiefs' backup quarterback the last couple of years. So he's got a bunch of Super Bowl rings. He was with Tom Brady, got a Super Bowl ring with him in Tampa, and then he went to the Chiefs and got one with Mahomes. So good for you, Blaine Gabbert. Glad you could do that. Get a Super Bowl ring somewhere else. Couldn't do anything for my team. You joke.
What a loser.
Zach, did you have us talking about Blaine Gabbert on this on your bingo card?
Yeah, or Justin Blackman.
Yeah, some really bad football against. It was Jaguar Blaine Gabbert and Titan Jake Locker. It's like some of those are some of the worst games of football you could ever watch.
If you can get through that, you can get through anything. That's what I was telling myself about watching Will Levis last year. If I can get through that, I can get through any game.
Yeah, and then Mason Rudolph happened, and it's like Levis might have at least been more fun.
No, he was not fun.
You never knew what was going to happen when he threw the ball. It's more fun than Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is just
Jameis Winston is fun.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, okay. We won't know about Jameis. He's not going to play at all this year. Be third string quarterback on the Giants, behind Russell Wilson and Shedeur Sanders.
I would like to know where Zach's Zach too, but Tinsley's prediction on some of that. I didn't know if Zach wanted, if it's trivia time, and then we jump in on some of those. What are we thinking, Zach?
Yeah, let's do a little trivia first. Okay. I got some fun stuff to talk about. I got some draft stuff cooking up. Turns out I was trying to pull some stats. Sometimes it's hard to I realized that one of my stats I pulled was only compiled since 2020, and then you're missing 4 years of stats. It's can they redo this? But we'll get there. So my first question when I was starting to think about some fun stuff to think about with draft was how are any of the first round picks, how does the value differ between picks? Is it linear? Are any of the picks statistically better than others on average? If you had, there's a metric called, I don't know how they say it, but it's WAV, weighted career approximate value. They're basically assigning values to players to say how their career went, and there's a lot of different factors
in their contract and stuff too. Does
it? Okay,
I think so, because there's there is a difference in pay from each range of picks in the first round. The 32nd pick doesn't make as much as the top 5 pick.
The WAV value is a metric that encompasses personal and team statistics and weighs them over a player's career to calculate the value produced by that player over their career.
Okay.
So it showed that for each draft pick. In the first round, which pick do you think had the highest WAV value?
Mason, do you want to go first?
So I think this is a trick question with how he's asking it. So I'm actually going to go at the end of the draft, at the end of the first round. So I'm going to go pick 32, just because we had Lamar Jackson that they traded back in. I feel like there's a lot of more successful teams that get those picks that last long, or those players that last longer, maybe on the team. I don't know if I'm deciphering this correctly or not, but go ahead, Tins.
I'm gonna go with pick 12. A bad team that's not all the way out of it, and then that player can come in and help turn things around pretty quick.
Because you don't want to go at the very beginning, even though I feel like some people want to do that, because that's the worst team, and you have a lot that you have to kind of endure. And through the, I don't know.
It is interesting. I I was pretty surprised to see this number. The number 1 overall pick is by far the best. Has the best value over their career. By significant margin. Like, it's not even really close. Second place is like 11 points lower. Like, the first overall pick's like at 70, and second pick is at like 59. It drops significantly after the first. So statistically, the first overall pick is a much better value than the second or third. Fourth actually jumps back up. So some like peaks where it's just odd, but it's over time you see them. Statistically, the fourth pick has very good value. The 13th pick has good value, and the 24th pick has good value.
Can I take a stab at this? I always feel like the fourth might be the best because you have the quarterback heavy teams that are just getting the best available quarterback, even if it's what was the one that had there was like 3 or 4 in a row. We did have Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, and obviously those quarterbacks did not pan out. Whoever had the 4th or 5th, they got the best player that was not a quarterback. So if you have a lot of heavy, we talked about like this year, Cam Ward, Shador, Sanders. Some people were saying Shador's like at the back, like middle, but somebody's reaching for him. Possibly, we don't really know yet. But you might get the best like player of any position that's not a quarterback if you don't need a quarterback. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So moving on, some other trends. Picks 33, 34, 36, and 37 all rank within the top 30 most valuable picks. So those bang for your buck there.
A lot of those are, I bet, like trade. Are you saying like this most valuable picks because that gets traded a lot? Like
it's literally saying the player. It's taking every player drafted the position and then tracking throughout their career to see how their career went.
Yeah, could be like a first round guy who like fell because of like he might have some personal issues off the field, and then he turns out fine. Kind of like a James Pierce this year. Like he's kind of fallen into that range a little bit. I don't think he gets past pick 36, but that's just me. I don't know who has that.
While we're still here, I have with the James Pierce. I'm going to throw in my bet. DraftKings has the best value at minus 130 for him being in the first round. I still believe that. So we were talking about him being a top 10, top 5 pick when it like a couple months ago or even a month ago. 38 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And we were talking about him being first round for sure. All of a sudden, like he's fallen so much. I still think he'll be a first round. So.
Yeah, he's actually. I saw.
Or minus 115, it moved. Yeah, go ahead.
His position, I can't find it now. That's really annoying. I saw it might have been on FanDuel actually, where you could take him to be picked before pick 30, at plus 100. So you don't think he makes it past to the Chiefs or Eagles, which obviously I think either one of them would take him. But I think like that's
gross.
That's I felt better.
I saw it earlier. It was plus 100. I took it.
So DraftKings is minus 115 now. It moved from minus 130 to 115. So you're getting slightly below even money.
Yeah, James Pierce under pick 31.5 plus 100. So now you even get the Chiefs. He's not making it past the Chiefs. That's plus 100. I'm taking that now. Live on air.
Was that FanDuel?
No, that's DraftKings.
I like that. I'm going to take that. Okay, so I've got a couple other stats here about these draft pick numbers. Number 257 is Mr. Irrelevant. But the real Mr. Irrelevant is number 256. 256 is pretty much always the worst pick of the draft. 257 actually is better than like the 20 picks all before it. So Mr. Irrelevant, for whatever reason, typically actually is not
Brock Purdy effect. He probably boosts those numbers. He's been in the Super Bowl.
256 is always is dead last though. Only one draft pick ever has produced a negative value on average. Twice has there been a 449th selection in the draft. Ooh. They used to draft that far? Is that what that,
yeah. Back in the day, it used to be like
almost reminds me of baseball.
Rounds. So it used to be. They used to not be able to do free agency. So if you were drafted on a team, that was your team. You never that was it. They didn't do free agency. So you
imagine have to being in that front office and doing that many rounds. That'd be crazy.
So the first selection was in 1968. There was a kicker selected, Dennis Patera, who appeared in 5 games as a rookie, and he went 2 for 8 on field goals and 10 for 13 on extra points. And that was all he did. Wow. Then there was a second selection in 1976. The Colts selected tight end Mike Furman, who never played a regular season game. Okay,
you think a fantasy draft with Zach and Robert goes long? Wait until you draft in pick number 480 in the NFL draft. They're drafting dudes from Tennessee Tech at that point.
Okay, so I've got some other numbers about some boom bust type trends and what is the riskiest and safest places to draft in the first round. If you guys had to guess, where would you say is the safest place to draft? This is saying a draft where typically players don't go bust very often. Like if you wanted to put your safest possible.
Are you saying like a position or like a draft?
Position.
Like a position.
Where would I'm going to say offensive line.
Interior offensive line typically go very well.
Yeah, they last a long time.
Not the last 25 years.
I always feel like if you just want to take that safe bet, I always feel like that's where the offensive line comes into play. Did you have another pick, Tens?
I was going to say safety.
Safety is also on the list. Yeah.
Yep.
Safety. It's basically taking people who get drafted in the first round and tracking them over their career. It's like it was rating like all pro people that got named all pro eventually, drafted in the first round. There's actually 2 other position groups here on the safe side.
I'm gonna go defensive end.
That is not on the list. That's actually listed more on the
a lot of bust on the defensive end.
Defensive end is a big boom bust type position where you get some stars, but you also get a lot of people who never
tight end
who never pan out.
Tight end is on the safe side. Yeah, tight ends typically do pretty well.
Not a lot of them get drafted in the first round too. I think that's part of it.
If you do get drafted, you're really good. Typically,
like interior offensive linemen too. Like that's not a position that gets drafted a ton in the first round, but when they do, it's like, okay, congratulations, you're now a starter in the NFL for the next 12 years, and you're going to be great. Yeah.
I got one more on the safe.
I'm going to go running back.
Running back is actually the riskiest position. The other one I had was linebacker. Linebackers have a tendency, if you're drafted in the first round, to be very good. It's a safe position. Makes sense. Running backs were listed as the top of the risky positions with a huge boom bust type. There's one other position, or really 2 other positions that were listed as huge risks in the first round.
Kickers. Just kidding.
That would be a big risk.
Has there been a kicker drafted in the first round?
Janikowski for the Raiders.
Wow,
he's a baller. He'll actually go in the Hall of Fame. He's really good. I mean, I think wide receiver is probably the risky.
Yep, that's definitely high
Lots
risk.
of busts. I would assume quarterbacks.
Yeah, quarterbacks definitely are in that list. But there's one more position that they specifically mentioned as being really high.
I guess
upside, but really high.
Downside. Corner.
Yeah, cornerback.
Lots of busts. Yeah, lots of busts.
They go in the first round often, but they have flame out pretty often. So
I agree with that.
Risky, but you get a good one.
I don't like taking corners in the first round. I like taking like a bunch of them in the 5th through 7th round and just see who sticks.
Yeah.
What was it like 2020? Like during COVID, It was like Kevin Farley. Titans drafted that corner.
He's good. He's really good. Yeah, from LSU.
There you go.
Yeah, no need to trade assets and give corners the highest paid contract at their position in the NFL. No need for that.
I feel like he's talking about somebody.
You don't know who I'm talking about?
Oh. Zach's face. He's like... Okay, move on, Zach.
Okay, moving on.
Give him satisfaction.
So, I now have, talking about quarterbacks, I have a list of all of the teams who have drafted the most quarterbacks in the first round in NFL history. Now, I did this and I realized this was from 2020, which is a huge bummer because my number's not right. But maybe you guys can help me fill in some of the gaps. Whenever this, I know there's some teams with more now, but when this list was made, there were 6 teams that had taken at least. No, there were 3 teams that had taken at least 6 quarterbacks in the first round since 1970. Did I say that right? Yeah, 3 teams. Do you guys have an idea of which ones they were? One of them has another one already. Actually,
Cleveland
2 of them have another one.
Cleveland Browns?
Yeah,
Cleveland Browns
got to be there.
Yep. Most recently, they took Johnny Manziel, obviously. But they also took Brady Quinn in 2007. Brandon Weeden. That was 2014.
Kaiser was a second round pick. I was trying to think if they had one more on there.
5, they've had 5 since 1999. That's tough. First round quarterbacks.
That's really tough.
Now, before anybody else, well, let's do another. Anybody else have another idea?
I have a sneaky one.
Okay.
The
I'm
Vikings.
also thinking sneaky.
The Vikings are not on this list as even. So there's like 10 total teams that have had at least 4 and since 1970. Vikings are not. Vikings have had 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
They're probably at 5 now because JJ last year, you said it stopped at 2020.
Correct.
That's why I thought JJ would put them up to 6.
That's 5. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I was thinking the Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals.
They're an old team.
The Cardinals have had
Matt Leinart
have had 5 since 1970. Matt Leinart definitely is.
Kyler Murray's in there.
Josh Rosen.
Yeah. Josh Rosen. Yeah. Let's see.
Well, I'm just going to spoil it for you. The Tennessee Titans have had 6. Actually 7 now with Will Levis.
Well, we had Vince Young, Jake Walker.
You guys are not an old franchise.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Jake Walker. Vince Young, most recent one. Steve McNair in 1995. You had in Will Levis last year. And we
Levis was a second round pick.
Was Levis second round?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Tell me
we're going to make it 7 this year with your boy Cam Ward. So
was the Falcons on that list? Because I was going to say like Penix, and then you had
Matt Ryan,
Michael Vick.
Mike Vick.
Was he a first round? I think so.
Michael Vick, yeah.
Falcons have had 4.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Vick was number 1 overall in 2001. Matt Ryan, Steve Bartkowski.
Yeah, Matt Ryan played for so long.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Good chunk.
And then so the other one that had 6 is now 7 actually, and is in the lead would be the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Jeff George, John Elway, 1983. Now they have Richardson.
And they'll be picking a first-round quarterback next year in the 2026 NFL Draft. Book it.
Well, when you say Daniel Jones is going to compete, it shows that they don't have much faith in Anthony Richardson.
Chicago Bears also have 6 now.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
is there a least category? Is there
least? There are a couple of teams that have basically drafted none. I was trying to remember. I was trying to find it where I had that. Had a lot of stats pulled up. This was since
I was going to say Patriots since they had Tom Brady for such a long time. But then they went Mac Jones, and then
Mac Jones was in 20,
and then Drake May.
Drake May. So it was like 3 and like 25-year span.
Notably, yeah, this is not a good chart. I don't know. Okay, you can't trust what you see on the
internet.
I was on the Reddit thread there. Okay, so then lastly, before we get to some little trivia, this was a ranking of the highest value draft picks of all time. This is taking where they like basically the best bang for your buck value in a draft pick. Who do you guys think is number 1 overall?
Wait, is this a player, a position, or the
player?
Pick?
It's a player. Like the best pick in
Tom Brady.
History. Yeah, Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Number 199 overall in 2000. We know who he is. You guys have any other ideas for some high value? There's a lot of them are a little bit older.
I was going to say, is this...
Oh, I'm not going to be able to just go through this. Let me tell you a couple.
Okay.
Emmitt Smith is not in the top 10.
Emmitt Smith was traded for like a buttload of picks.
Bart Starr was also number 200 overall in 1956. Shout out to the Packers. Johnny Unitas was number 102 overall. Roger Staubach, number 219 overall. Deacon Jones, 5-time first team All-Pro, was number 186 overall.
Wow.
Let's see if I have any more modern ones. These are all from like the 50s and 60s. Maybe they just didn't have enough information to make logical decisions about the draft. Shannon Sharp in the news. So you want to do that talk now? Or
yeah, I think so. There's a good time for it.
Just kidding. We're going to avoid that one. Number 192 overall.
Where did Puka Nacua go?
He was on the fifth round draft pick.
Antonio Brown, number 195 overall, was good for a while before he went crazy.
The guy who found Puka Nacua was in charge of all of that. What a guy that guy is. That guy's gonna be a good GM someday.
I guess he already is.
Who's to say?
Okay.
Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
All right, everybody. We're gonna play a game.
Game time.
You ready?
I was born ready.
We are going to do battle of the fans. No cheating. We're going to go back through each of your team's first round draft picks and see how far back you can go.
You got to be kidding me. Oh, my gosh.
I love this.
Okay.
Let's let Mason go first because I feel like this could go for a little bit.
I might be able to cook pretty long amount of time. I might be like cooking a brisket.
Wait, is this every player?
This is just your first round.
First round.
2024.
Already forgot.
It
was a
lot of tight ones too. Don't make me do it.
It was offensive lineman, right?
J.C. Latham?
J.C. Latham.
Correct.
There it is. We're starting out strong.
23? 11th overall?
No, it wasn't Treylon Burks.
The guard.
Wow. This is bad.
This is the pick that you were glad they made instead of Will Levis.
Yes, instead of Will Levis. What was his name? I don't remember.
Peter Skoronski. Okay.
He's still there.
2022.
Yeah, he's your left guard. He's about to be your left guard for another 8 years.
That's Treylon Burks. See, this is what we were talking about. Your interior O linemen don't get any credit, but they're your good picks. Treylon Burks, wide receiver.
Trash.
Speaking of high risk picks, 2021 cornerback.
Was that the Farley pick?
Yep. Caleb Farley.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
2020 tackle.
Look at him. He's helping me out with the positions. Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Isaiah Wilson.
Who is it?
Out of the league.
Isaiah Wilson.
Did you
remember him? Did he really not?
He went crazy. He's one of those guys that went crazy. He got traded to the Dolphins. Yeah, he was bad news. Like, he lost his mind.
Okay, we'll keep going a little bit. 2019. This was a more notable one. Defensive tackle.
Brown. Simmons.
Yep. Simmons. Yeah. 2018 linebacker.
I do not remember.
Reggie Evans.
Rashawn
Tinsley's going to literally not even need the he's not even going to need the help.
Okay, 2017 we had 2 first-round picks. The 5th one is notable. Both are actually notable.
This one's not AJ Brown still.
It's a wide receiver.
AJ was
5th overall.
He was a 2nd overall. Oh my gosh, who was it?
Mac School. Small school. Kind of a crazy pick, but he was very good.
Mac School.
They just won the
Could you have done this,
national
Zach?
championship in college hockey. Western Michigan.
Why would I know?
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis.
Mustangs.
18th overall, Adoree Jackson.
I wouldn't have been. Yeah,
Adoree Jackson.
2016.
Adoree.
Michigan State. Tackle.
Michigan State tackle.
Look, Tense is over here. Like, I don't remember.
Offensive tackle?
Yeah.
8th
overall.
It's not your. No, he was drafted further than that.
He played.
Later
the
than
guy
that.
who
in the league.
It's not Taylor Lewan. It's the other guy. He plays for the Browns now. He plays for the Browns now. Crap. What is his name?
Jack Conklin.
Yeah, Conklin. Yeah, he plays for the Browns.
It's all coming back to me now.
2015, number 2 overall, quarterback.
This is Jay Clocker, right?
That's Marcus Mariota. That's Marcus Mariota.
That's Mariota.
I'm getting this all mixed
your
up.
Your timeline's wrong. 2014.
Wrong. I like to forget about Mariota. Huh?
2014 tackle. Now
you like to forget about Mariota.
This is Lewan.
This is Lewan, correct. We'll go to 2010 and we'll cut it.
Why do you hate Mariota?
I was kind of good.
I was 2013 guard from Alabama. You will never get this. Chance Warmack.
I wanted him on the Jags for some reason. I just thought he was going to be a beast.
2012 wide receiver from Baylor. Man, we suck. Kendall Wright.
Oh gosh,
he was bad.
I like to forget about him.
Quarterback.
This was Jay Clocker.
That was Jay Clocker. 2010 defensive end from Georgia Tech. Derek Morgan. You go back a couple more years. You've got Kenny Britt, wide receiver. Chris Johnson.
Oh my gosh.
CJ2K. Michael Griffin. Defensive
end. I loved Michael Griffin. I wanted him on the Jags bad.
Was Vince Young 2006?
Who's before Vince Young?
Who's before?
Yeah. Electric.
Who was before
Pac-Man Jones? Pac-Man Jones was a beast. What a beast. Before that, we had. Oh my gosh! Listen to the draft picks. Okay, then we're done. You want to see a difference in what this program used to be, what this franchise. 2003, Andre Woolfolk. 2002, Albert Hainsworth. 2000, Keith Bullock. 1999, Javon Curse. 1998, Kevin Dyson. 1996, Eddie George. 1995, Steve McNair. That was like that was like 10 years of draft picks.
Those are just first round draft picks. There's plenty of second, third, and fourth round guys that were.
Can't forget Lendell White
too.
That's the foundation of that. Man, what a bummer that was to read just now. Okay, and then to see the next
you a little
years,
sad.
The next 20 years of because that was such a fun team. Like that team was when they had those guys on. It was so much fun.
That was like why you were a fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Now we suck. Okay, all right, Tim. Are you ready?
He's got.
Yeah, let's run it.
It's gonna be impressive.
I think Tim's gonna crush this. So, hang on.
He can probably name 7th round pick.
Yeah, I'm not going to give. I'll let him roll with it. All right, 2024 tens.
All right, Brian Thomas Jr.
2023.
2023 is.
It's gonna be tough.
That one is tough.
Tackle, offensive tackle.
Anton Harrison.
Anton Harrison.
Yeah.
2022, there were 2.
Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd.
That's correct. This guy. What a lunatic. 2021, good draft for you all. 2 first-round picks.
That's Trevor and Travis Etienne.
Correct. 2020, you have 2 as well. This won't be hard.
2 in 2020?
9 and 20.
Oh, CJ Henderson and Kevion Chason. The two, Chason was the pick that we got for Jalen Ramsey. CJ Henderson
received from the Rams.
Yeah. So was Travis Etienne. He was the other half of the Ramsey trade, but still not worth the trade.
2019.
2019. Bad year.
Not for your draft.
What pick was it?
7th. Defensive end.
Oh, Josh Allen. Josh Hines Allen.
Better Josh Allen.
Definitely. 2018.
2018 would be wow. It's not Ramsey. It's
29th overall.
29. Oh, Taven Bryant.
Yeah. 2017.
2017 would have been Was that Ramsey?
No.
Rookie Ramsey, I thought. Okay. 27.
Big name. 4th overall.
Oh, Leonard Fournette?
Correct.
He was a rookie that year that we went. Okay. I forgot that was his rookie year where we went to the AFC Championship game.
Jalen Ramsey was 2016.
Jalen Ramsey. Yep.
This stretch from 2012 to 2017 was
pretty
5,
tough.
2, 3, 3, 5, 4. That was your draft picks.
Yep. Pretty bad.
Okay, 2015.
2015 is that Blake?
No, that's 2014.
Okay. I'm a year early.
3rd overall.
Is it a lineman? Defensive end?
Yeah.
Dante Fowler.
Correct.
Dante Fowler Jr. He's still in the league. He just had 10 sacks for the Commanders.
Pretty good. 2014 was Blake Bortles. 2013.
Offensive line.
This isn't global for anyone else. I don't know. Hard to say.
Is it offensive lineman? UJ Monroe.
That'd be fun. Luke Joeckel.
Luke Joeckel. Even worse. Offensive lineman.
About that guy.
That guy is bad.
2012 wide receiver.
Allen Robinson.
Justin Blackmon.
Oh, yeah.
We just talked about him.
Quarterback.
Blaine Gabbert.
Byron Leftwich. When did Leftwich?
2010.
Like 2004.
Aluwalu.
Tyson Aluwalu. He's still in the league. Plays for the Steelers.
There you go. That's it.
I think my timeline is just horribly off. I hit 30 and I just was like, Vince Young 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, you did. When you said that a minute ago, you're like, Vince Young.
Jake Locker over. No, I said 2006. I did not say it. I was most upset with myself when I said Jake Locker before Mariota. That was tough. Tough look for me.
Okay.
Boy, there's some bad draft picks in there.
There's some bad draft picks.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
We needed that for sure.
I needed that.
All right. Well, we have another draft this week that's going to be full of great draft picks. Mason and Zach get to join me with the quarterback being selected first overall, which means you have to fight online a lot. Get prepared for that. Everyone will slander your quarterback for no reason. Even though your team around him is bad, they don't accept that as an answer. So get ready for that to be a part of your life.
I was born for that. People have been slandering the Titans since I've been born.
I was going to say, we've been trained. Don't you worry. Should we get into some bets to close out
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
We've got some bets, some stuff like that. Me and Mason love the draft. We also love betting on it. Trying to find some value, some long shots that are worth sprinkling. Do not go crazy on betting the draft, please. That would be kind of an insane thing to go crazy on betting wise, because anything can happen. But Mason, what do you got so far? I think you've been cooking.
Yeah. Before we start on that, I do want to preface by saying that I'm picking some long shots because of what Tinsley said. Nothing's a sure thing. If we all actually knew what was happening, we would all be millionaires because there would be good value and you can make some money. But it's just unpredictable. I had the Raiders picking Michael Penix Jr. last year, and I also doubled down and had the Raiders picking a quarterback, and they didn't either. And you had the Falcons doing the thing that everybody was just shocked about. So it's one of those things I'm just throwing out. If you're like, man, this guy's crazy. These are just things that we see chaos every year. And I'm throwing these out as just like fun little sprinkles. My first one is going to be with Jameson Williams in his last year of his contract. I could see the Detroit Lions at pick 28. And there being several options at wide receiver. We're talking about 4 or 5 options and them all kind of not being top 10, maybe one being top 10, McMillan possibly, but we have some options and they're all kind of middle to the end of the draft. So I'm going to go with the Lions to pick a wide receiver at plus 1,500 on FanDuel. This is significantly higher on FanDuel than it is on DraftKings. I think it's like plus 800 on DraftKings or plus 900.
Yeah, 900.
So
I'm looking
I
at
went
it
to FanDuel.
Have to take it.
Yeah, for this one. Just
glad
because
you said FanDuel.
Just because I feel like what they just constantly want to do is keep their offense just dominating. The favorite is Aiden Hutchinson's replacement. So that is obviously at minus like 220. So I get that. But where you're getting your value is these deep, long shots of like, could this possibly happen where they don't go that way because they're not in love with the defensive end. So they go wide receiver. So plus 1,500 FanDuel lines.
I like that. Just took it with you. That makes sense because at the end of the day, you can't pay everyone on the team. They have a very highly paid wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Offensive line, they've invested a lot of money in. Jared Goff is pretty well paid.
And I don't think that they'll
going to need a new contract too.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't think they'll double down on Jameson. He's been inconsistent. He had some he had off-field issues. And so it's one of those things where I don't think that they're going to throw money to re-sign him. So this would be a perfect time for them to go ahead and get a year ahead and replace him with him going into.
And that's what smart organizations do. They stay ahead of expiring contracts. They see a player that could be replaced and replace them with a rookie. That's a good bet. I like that. Plus 1,500.
And I didn't mean to make it sound like Aiden Hutchinson got hurt.
Right.
Who was it? Was somebody did somebody retire? So they're not talking about him playing the whole season. So I didn't mean replace as he's not there anymore. But the defensive line was the big favorite. I think they lost somebody to free agency. I can't remember. But anyways, if they don't fill that, then this wide receiver might be the favorite of. I definitely think the odds are. That's great value there. So
I agree.
All right, Tins.
All right. A lot of mine have to do with the Jaguars, but one that doesn't. Yeah. One that does and doesn't is Austin Genty to be taken at the 5th overall selection. Now, that means that can mean a couple things. That can mean the Jaguars take him at 5, which right now they're plus 175 to take him. It can mean the Bears hear this news, who are in love with him and want to come get him, and they want to get ahead of the Raiders, who have been the odds-on favorite to draft Genty all offseason. Trade from 10 to 5 to get him, or the Raiders hear enough of this smoke and they say, okay, we'll just do a trade swap and get you at 5. So I'm not specifically saying Austin Genty to be drafted by the Jaguars. I'm just saying Austin Genty to be picked at pick 5, which is like plus 250 when I took it. I'm trying to do this on my laptop. I'm having a hard time finding where it is specifically now. Pick number 5 is... Sorry. Here we go. Yeah, it's plus 135 now. So the juice might not be there, but plus 135 is still plus money. I like taking him in that spot because there's three possibilities of him going there if you include the 2 trades.
Perfect. Well, we've obviously, if someone's tailing all of our picks, this may not make sense. I also had an Ashton Genty. I think it's just he was obviously like one of the most dynamic players last year, and we're excited to see. And if you do a lot of fantasy drafts and stuff, he's gonna be on your radar. So it's one of those things where he's excited to keep up with. I'm gonna go with Genty being drafted by the Patriots.
Oh, at 4?
They have, yes. Just bear with me here. It's at plus 800 on DraftKings, plus 1,600 on FanDuel. Nobody's talking about this. And I feel like the Patriots are always known for being under the radar. And what did Vrabel have when he was with the Titans? One of the most dynamic running backs that the whole team could rely on.
It's true.
And they ranked 25th in rushing touchdowns last year. They were in the middle of the pack ranked when it came to rushing yards per a game. When you go back and look at the running backs, Ramon Stevenson had 801 yards. That was 26th ranked and 7 touchdowns. And then Antonio Gibson had 538 yards. That was 40th ranked and only 1 touchdown. Yeah, so I could really see the Patriots going Genty here as a surprise pick. No one sees it coming. Everybody's going Raiders. Everybody thinks it's the Raiders. What if the Patriots just was like, you know what? We'll just take them right here. The best player, and some people are saying best player in the draft.
I mean, yeah, plus 1,600 you said for them to get a running back. I mean, that's what Mike Vrabel wants to do, wants to pound the ball. So it would not shock me for the Patriots to do that. I just think their offensive line is pretty bad.
Yeah. They want to protect Drake May.
Yeah.
So they might go that way. But
yeah, Will Campbell kind of feels like that's their guy.
Yeah. That's why these are sprinkles.
Yeah. All right. So I got 2 sprinkles right here. My first one is going to be is Saints to take a receiver with their first pick. It's plus 1,100 on DraftKings. This is a team that keeps getting talked about as like a sneaky pick for Shador. From what I've heard and from guys that I trust is that the Saints are kind of willing to roll with Derek Carr's out and we're kind of tanking. Let's see if Spencer Rattler can be a guy in the league, and if not, that's fine. We'll be out of our cap room purgatory that they've been in for the last 5 years. After this season, they'll get a lot of their big contracts will come off the books, and they could be a top pick, team picking for a quarterback next year. And everyone says next year's quarterback class is loaded. That's what you hear at this time every year, almost every year. So I don't know, but that is the going theory, is that they are actually going to pass, and defensive lineman is like their big, like that's what they're favored to pick on DraftKings. But I think adding a receiver, I think if the Arizona receiver T-Mac gets to them right here at 9, I think they'd snatch him and take him right there. Or even Texas's wide receiver, Golden. He's another good receiver as well. Those are the top 2 guys outside of Travis Hunter. I could see the Saints going receiver. I think adding another weapon to that offense that's kind of like you don't know what's going on with what's his name? Guy who got the really bad concussion back-to-back weeks last year.
Not Olave.
Yeah, Olave. I'm thinking of. So Olave's future's kind of up in the air with them because he's kind of made it clear he doesn't want to come back and play for them. And then Shaheed is their other receiver. So I could definitely see the Saints going and taking somebody to play receiver for them. Plus 1,100 feels like good value to me. And then this is a wild card pick. This is like a sprinkle, like the smallest sprinkle you got. Rams first pick to be a quarterback. I love the Rams to take a quarterback in the second or third round if the right guy falls to them, or just in general, like Thursday night after the draft, they'll have second and third round props come up. I'll be taking Rams to take a quarterback for sure. Life without Stafford is coming before they know it. It's a smart organization that's going to get ahead of that, and I think there's a couple guys that are like. I think if Sanders falls to them in the first round, I think they would take Shedeur Sanders. I think it's an organization that can handle all of the media attention that comes with drafting Shedeur Sanders, and then also paired up with the best coach for. I think Shedeur has the tools to be a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite at anything, but if you put him in the right system, I think he could be good. And that has Rams written all over it to me. So at plus 2,000, I think that's good value, but know that if that's not what they do in the first round, I do think they take a guy like Kyle McCord, Tyler Sowell. Those two guys come to mind as guys I think McVay would love in the second and third round to kind of maybe be Stafford's replacement in a year or two. So those are definitely I'm looking at the Rams as a quarterback team, if not in the first round, definitely in the second or third.
I like that a lot. We see almost every year at this point an aging quarterback where the team goes ahead and drafts somebody and people are shocked. We saw it with Patrick Mahomes when Alex Smith was there. We saw it with Jordan Love when Aaron Rodgers was there. We saw it last year when they just signed Kirk Cousins to his deal and Michael Penix Jr. So you're seeing it every year, and this could be the shocking wait, what type of, and especially if Shedeur falls right in their laps, because it seems like nobody really knows what's happening there. Why wouldn't they take them?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I like that pick.
Yeah.
What was the odds?
2,000 plus 2,000.
Oh, let's go
for their first pick. Yeah, I mean, but they're a team that's like, if you think about it, what do the Rams like? They don't have a glaring need that has to be filled. Like,
yeah,
they're good. They're a good team, so they can afford to take a guy like Shedeur in the first round. It gives you way better contract control than a second or third round guy. So I think it's worth a shot there at plus 2,000. And if not, then take. Like, they'll have something for individual quarterbacks. Jackson Dart, Kyle McCord, Tyler Sowell. Like, any of those guys could be targets. Quentin Ewers, any of them for the Rams. But, yeah, so I like those. We had talked for a second about quarterbacks over under 2.5 first round. The line moved on us. I still minus 105 for under 2.5 quarterbacks in the first round. I love that pick. I think Cam Ward's worthy of a first round pick. Sanders is borderline. So to me, why not? Why not go under?
We were talking. Yeah, we were talking where we think all the talking heads like to get excited because everybody wants to hear quarterbacks, and so it's one of those things where it's like I feel like it's being pushed to all of a sudden we're talking about Milroe in the first round. It happens every year where it's all these quarterbacks are being talked about as a first round, and they even go to the draft. He got an invite to go. Will Levis got an invite to go. He was being talked about as like a top 10 pick, and that didn't happen. So it's one of those things where I feel like this happens every year where we're pushing for like Jackson Dart and Milroe, and we don't really know, but it's like, oh, is this just all smoke? So we'll see what happens. But that was something we were confident about. It was huge plus money, and now it's moved because I think more people are realizing it, and the line's moving. So that was one of our bets. Something
that points that to me as well is you go under player parlays to be drafted together. Cleveland Browns to draft both Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders plus 275. That's telling you they think there's a real possibility that Sanders is there for the Browns either at the end of the first round for them to trade up and get him, or just sitting there with their
in the
first,
second round.
They have the 33rd pick.
That'd be wild.
So I like under 2.5 quarterbacks. I don't think Jackson Dart's done enough to get him to 3. So minus 105 I think is worth the squeeze. Parlay it with somebody hitting a home run tomorrow. Whenever you're listening to this, pick somebody that hit a home run plus that. There you go. It's plus money.
Beautiful. Aaron Judge, home run.
Yeah, he hasn't hit one in a minute. There you go.
Yeah, he's due. All right, I think that's a pod. So thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode, NFL special episode for the draft. So we hope you all have a fun and exciting draft. Give you all hope for your team, whether that be Titans, Jags, or any other team. Hope it goes well for y'all. We catch you next week, and you guys have a great week.